This One's Wife. Radio Gag Gag. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. All we hear is radio gag gag. Radio blah, blah, radio gag gag. Yes, the bastardized version of Queen's hit Radio Gaga, as it would appear that This One's Wife is going to make you radio gag gag. How so? Well, according to supine publication People.com and an article by Meredith Kyle, This One's Wife could well be coming to the airwaves. This One's Wife does not have a good track record when it comes to the airwaves. First of all, let us consider when she engages in the broadcasting by way of speeches. She is one of the dullest speakers that has ever graced the planet. Her speeches are a combination of essentially three things: talking about herself, reiterating things that you've heard before about herself, and listening to fridge magnet platitudes doled out by herself. It is a heady brew of boredom that will send most people into a catatonic state, with glass eyes being sent to sleep and people being sent into comas from which they might never emerge. There has not been one speech that she has ever delivered which has deviated from those three things. She is never original, she is never insightful, and she is entirely self-absorbed, resulting in the necessity of talking about herself over and over again and bringing up those anecdotes which we've heard so many times before. This does not make for an interesting person to listen to. But it goes further than that. She has had not one, but two podcast series. Both of them were roundly trashed. The first, Archetypes, which didn't even get its title correct, was simply an attempt by This One's Wife to address all of the descriptions that had been levelled at her over time, with the consequence that she bored people rigid. She didn't even bother conducting many of the actual interviews, with production staff undertaking it. And then, with Confessions of a Female Founder, it became even worse, as she attempted to share business advice but provided the square total of fuck all as a result of not having any business acumen and not having established any kind of business. It was another serial failure. And yet, despite the fact that whenever This One's Wife gets behind a mic, something that she loves to fellate on a regular basis, and that she is absolutely useless and completely anodyne and boring when she does speak, there is a suggestion that she's going to be on the airwaves. This One's Wife is already a podcast host, the article tells us, but could she be heading to the radio next? After revealing her favourite UK radio station during a Season 2 episode of her Netflix show with Love Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex received an offer from one of the company's executives. This One's Wife shared on the series that one of the things she missed most about living in the United Kingdom is the radio station called Magic. Well, pausing there, listen, you dimwit. You know there's this thing called the internet. You can listen to any radio station from any part of the world through the magic, pun intended, of the internet. Huh? How about that? Anyway, speaking at Radio Centre's Tuning In conference on Tuesday, Magic content director Paul Sylvester responded to This One's Wife's praise by extending a proposal. The offer is on the table. If the Duchess wants to host a show, she's very welcome, he said. He later doubled down on X, writing, "I did say exactly this," in a response to a user quoting him on the offer. No, Mr. Sylvester, what are you doing? First of all, Nobody wants to listen to this beige, self-absorbed narcissist wanking on over the airwaves, telling us things that we already know and going on and on about herself. It will cause people to gag. As they're sat enjoying a mid-morning brew, they'll barf it up as a consequence of the nonsense that's coming into their ears. Stop it. Furthermore, Mr. Sylvester, you're doing the very thing that this one's wife thinks she has the power to do, manifesting. She sits there thinking, if I talk about a radio station, someone will come along and make me an offer to be on the radio station, and you absolute twat waffle, have gone and done it. You're therefore going to encourage her to engage in more of this behaviour and reinforce in her tiny mind that she has this power. She is a narcissist, governed by magical thinking, who truly believes that if she thinks it, it will happen. And you have gone on this instance and validated her. You, sir, are a disgrace. Now, it's not clear whether they're offering her a permanent slot or just to come on and do one show. It isn't clear in that regard. The article continues by explaining that while this one's wife has yet to respond, we do have something of an idea about what her potential radio show might sound like. Well, I have. Awful. The Duchess wasn't fazed when France teased her about Magic FM being such a grandma station. I'll be that grandma, she responded. My favourite station in my car is called Mom Jeans. These are throwback, great sing-alongs. You forget they existed. I love it. It then goes on talking about the types of music that she likes and then references the playlist from With Love Meghan, which I'm not going to bore you with. The fact is that it might just be an offer for her to do one show, which, if that happens, it will be another exercise in her uselessness and will provide another opportunity to analyse her narcissism in full effect. But this type of behaviour is not to be encouraged by people because it only reinforces in the mind of this one's wife how wonderful she is. And the fact is that were she to have some kind of radio show that she would appear on regularly, that the quarter-wit sugars would listen to it, but it's not going to set the world alight with regard to listening because you only have to look at what happened with her podcast and also with her visual content as well. Most people aren't interested in her. Even the people that would once grudge watch aren't as bothered as they once were. And why, oh why, when there is so much talent out there, would you waste time on this self-absorbed narcissist? It remains to be seen whether it comes to fruition, but what I can tell you is that if it does, it will be a failure, and all you'll want to do is gag if you happen to listen to her on the radio. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.